MMA, NBA, NFL. So much, so much, so much to cover over a pretty good week. I would say somewhat entertaining week in sports. Welcome back to the Great Debate Show. I'm your host, Uncle JJ, and as always, I got something to say. The Great Debate Show is available on all social media platforms. Rate, review, follow on all social media platforms. Follow, follow, follow. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and smash that bell while you're at it. Because you just never know when your favorite unk might pop back up. And I'm up today to talk about MMA from Saturday night, the Ronda Rousey fight. Rousey, Carano, was it fixed? Was it staged? Or is that all just a bunch of nonsense? What's going to happen with John Jones? He was called out by Francis Ngannou. Is that fight going to happen or not? We'll talk about it. In the NBA, Donovan Mitchell, aka Spida, is going to his first ever conference finals. And then there's some free agents, some notable free agents that still remain in the NFL, and some notable trades that could happen after June 1. We're going to try to get into all of that and more here on the Great Debate Show. I hope you're having a magnificent Monday. Let's get this thing cracking. I'm live on YouTube, and I'm about to go live right now on TikTok. I hope that I can keep these people out of the thing where they jump in and try to be a guest. I don't want that to happen just yet, but we will see. Bear with me. Um, and if there is anything that you want to talk about, just come over on TikTok to do that. Yeah, as soon as I go on, people start jumping in. I'm gonna just ask anyone that's on, mute yourself and do not say anything until I bring you in. Mute yourself, please. Don't say a thing until I bring you in. Okay, he's gone. Some people just want to do what they want to do when they want to do it. Um, anyway, this is the Great Debate Show. It's Monday. What's today? Hell, I don't even know. It's Monday, May 18th, 2026. And I'm here to recap a very, very thrilling, entertaining weekend of sports and entertainment. We've got to talk about the MMA, as I just said here on YouTube. I'm live on YouTube and TikTok. We had a great weekend of MMA fighting, except for the last fight. Everything was good until the end, even though a lot of them were first round knockouts. I thought it was a very entertaining night in the hexagon, in that cage. MVP, new promotion by Jake Paul and company. I thought they did a great job. Dana White was a little petty by dropping some news about Conor McGregor having a fight, I think, somewhere in July. Um, him and Max Holloway. He dropped that while the MMA show was going on. MVP trying to take UFC out of their game, trying to make better payments, trying to pay these fighters better than what they've been getting paid under Dana White's promotion. I thought they did a good job. I do think that they're going to continue. I think this is just the beginning. But there is something that we have to tweak. At the end of the night, there's a conspiracy going on right now that Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano had a fixed fight. It lasted approximately 17 seconds, and nobody believes that that is the way it really should have went down. That's the way it was going to go down. We'll discuss it. Spider, Donovan Mitchell is going to his first conference finals in his career. Congratulations to him and the Cleveland Cavaliers. They advance to play the New York Knicks. That starts tomorrow night. And then tonight, we've got the Western Conference Finals with the Spurs and the Thunder. I think we do have the best four teams left in the NBA. I was rooting for the Pistons, but I said in the beginning, I think the Pistons are in trouble here because the Cavs match up with them very well. They out rebounded them. They played better defense at times, and their offense was just really the rotation. The rotation. They were rotating the ball, good ball movement, good shots, good looks. A lot of offensive rebounding, and they locked in on defense, something that you don't really get from Cleveland. Now, a lot of that is because the Pistons are limited on offense. That ain't gonna be the same thing when they play the Knicks. However, the Knicks can be inconsistent as well. So we'll talk about the Knicks and the Cavs, Eastern Conference Finals tonight, Spurs Thunder game one. Jay Will is coming back for the Thunder. He's been out since late April, mid to late April with a hamstring strain. He's coming back for game one. Don't know how limited he will be or if he'll be a full participant, but he's coming back tonight for the Spurs. I gotta admit, they're gonna need him. He knows that. The Thunder know that. That's why he's back. Congratulations to the MVP, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, back-to-back MVP. Wemby came in third. I don't know who came in second. Forgive me, I don't really know. I would have been cool with Wemby, Jaylen Brown, or SGA, to be honest with you. I've explained why in previous episodes. But are you okay with SGA being the MVP for back-to-back seasons? Do you think this is going to leave a chip on the shoulder of Wembyana as he comes into these conference finals, locked and loaded, ready to go? Everybody says the Spurs don't have the playoff experience to beat OKC. What happened in the regular season has nothing to do with the playoffs. We will find out if that's true or not. All I know is what I saw in the regular season, the Spurs beat OKC 4 out of 5 times. And I mean, it was pretty dominant. And one of the reasons why is because Wembyana can protect the rim. When SGA likes to get to that rim and finish, he also can protect the mid range at the same damn time, where SGA makes a living in the NBA on that floor. So, is the Thunder going to beat the Spurs in the playoffs? Do you believe that's going to happen, despite of what you saw in the regular season, where they pretty much got mollywopped 4 out of 5 times? Shea Will is back. They're gonna need him. I'll give you my answer in a minute. But first, let's just cap off the MMA weekend, okay? And if anybody wants to come jump in and ask some questions and debate with me, please just give me a moment to wrap up my opening statements, give a few of my opinions, and then we can debate about whatever it is you want to debate. But it needs to kind of be with this topic that I'm on today. Conference finals, MMA Saturday, with Jake Paul's promotion MVP. Um, and again, I got some football stuff to talk about as well. Aaron Rodgers also finally signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll tell you why the Pittsburgh Steelers are just so much of a joke. Um, that'll come in a minute. All right, I'll try to run through this as quick as I can. We know Ronda Rousey was going to win the fight. She won the fight, her first fight in 10 years, and then she went up against Gina Carano, somebody who hadn't fought in 17 years. Yeah, like 2009. So we expected for it to be a victory for Ronda. We wanted to see a fight, though. We had saw some good matches, in my opinion. The first 4 fights were good. Yes, they ended in first round knockouts, except for the Nate Diaz and Mike Perry fight. But everything was good. I'm gonna get to that bloodbath between my boy Nate Diaz and Perry in a moment. But everybody's saying that this fight might have been staged. It looked like it could have been. Y'all know I'm a conspiracy theorist. That's what you all like to call me at times when I say none of this stuff is real. It's all about the Benjamins, baby. No Diddy. Yeah, I say that all the time, and I still mean what I say. I just watch it for the entertainment. I still have an NFL team. I root for, another team here in Memphis, the Grizzlies, even though I'm not just like a diehard fan. I just try to root for the home team here in Memphis, which is where I'm at. All my life I've been here. But I grew up a Chicago Bulls fan. I think this is the greatest player of all time. I still think all these people's careers were somewhat scripted. So I said all of that to say this. I'm really not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a truth seeker. That's what I like to call myself, a truth seeker. And I think the truth really is that Ronda Rousey is said to have a pre-fight injury. Okay. Um, she got $2 million out of this fight. Gina Carano got 1 million. So 1 million for the loser, 2.2 million for the winner. It's a good payday, regardless if it ended in 17 seconds or if they went the full 3 rounds and it was won by decision and it was a bloodbath. But I mean, if you got that chick and you didn't want to hurt anybody and you didn't want to get hurt, it does make sense to just say, hey, I'm gonna arrest you, I'm gonna get you to the mat, and I'm gonna put you in an arm bar real quick, and you're just gonna tap. It definitely looks like that's what it was. I mean, look, I'm not trying to discredit Ronda Rousey, but I mean, she already kind of lost some respect to some fans for coming back fighting somebody who hadn't been in the octagon in, oh my God, 17 years. I mean, at least pick somebody who hadn't fought in 10 years like yourself, but 17 years. She already let it be known it was her last fight. She wanted to go out just like this. She's going to make some more babies. And it just seems like she kind of written her own script as the way she wanted to ride off into the sunset. And if it was real, okay, cool. It just goes to confirm that she shouldn't have been in the cage with her. Should have been somebody that would have made it a little bit more competitive. We knew it wasn't going to be a good fight, probably. We knew she was going to win, but I don't think people expected for it to be over with that quick. So when 17 seconds it was over, people asked themselves, what the hell did I just watch? And that's why some people are saying it's a conspiracy. This was a rigged fight. I think it kind of was too, to be honest with you. Maybe they thought that, hey, they got some good matches. They saw 4 good fights. Let's go on and wrap this up. This was over with before midnight. This was over with just shortly after 11 p.m. Central Time, you know, or Eastern Time. It was like midnight. I need you to mute yourself, brother or sister, whoever that is. Mute yourself for a second and I'll jump in and see what you want to debate. So, yeah, this is what I say to it, but it is what it is. Ronda Rousey got the win. Congrats, whatever. Sayonara. We won't see her again. Walker, mute yourself. Okay, so the rest of the MMA stuff was good though. I'm not gonna lie, and what we got out of it was a bunch of first round knockouts. Okay, I'm asking him to mute himself, and he still won't do it. If y'all want to come in, I need you to be quiet. Mute yourself until I let you in. All right. What's up, Tom? What's up, Curtis? What's up, JP? What's up, Alex? What's up, Big E? Thank y'all for joining me. Okay. But again, the rest of the fight, the rest of that fight card, that match card was really good in my opinion. We got to see Francis Ngannou, who called out John Jones after he knocked out Felipe Lins, which was very quick, as I said it would be. He had a nasty first round KO. The good part of that was not only was it a good quick fight, but he got to call out John Jones, and John Jones was there. He was at the announce table, and he got to answer a few questions that was asked by the commentators at the desk. And he said that he would love to make that fight happen. It's just that he doesn't think Dana White is going to let him out of his UFC contract. That would have to happen. And he said that his plans would be from here forward to try to get out of that UFC contract with Dana White. And we would have to make this fight happen MMA. It would have to be outside of the UFC. Do you all think John Jones really wants to fight Francis Ngannou? Or do you think that he's just blowing smoke and this is a fight that we're never going to see? Now, John Jones is a legend. All right. In some people's mind, he's the GOAT. In some people's mind, he's a fraud. We know about the drug testing and all of that stuff. But however, Ngannou looked like a beast. Everything that we said he would be. It was his first time in the cage in quite some time, but he looked dominant. Now, I'm not going to tell you that he would look dominant against John Jones or against somebody who has been fighting consistently lately in the cage in UFC or MMA. But he went up against a guy that weighed like 220. And I think he gave up like 40, 50 pounds at the most. How you doing? Thank you for joining me, LC. If you would, please just mute yourself for 1 second and I'll get back to you to see what you want to rap about. But yeah, 40 to 50 pounds is what he gave up. Can you mute yourself, LC, for 1 second? Can y'all mute yourself and I'm gonna come back to you? Can you hear me, LC? I don't like for people to just come in and just make noise, man. I'm asking y'all to mute yourself. If you ain't gonna mute yourself, you ain't gonna come in, man. That's just as simple as that. As I was saying, please, y'all, wait for a minute until I get done. Let's wait. He's back again. All right. I'm gonna ask you again, man. What do you want to talk about? And I need you to mute yourself until I come back and get you. You're not gonna say nothing? All right. If you do it again, man, I'm gonna kick you out. Okay. So, I lost all my train of thought. Do you think we're gonna see Ngannou and John Jones? I would like to see that, but I'm not sure. Just again, I'm gonna say this again. What we saw from Ngannou on Saturday night, that could be totally different when he goes up against somebody who's been fighting a lot more, who's not giving up 40, 50 pounds like he was doing. And that's it on that part. Other than that, Nate Diaz had a bloodbath with Mike Perry. Mike Perry came in there like a pit bull, man. And a lot of us went with Nate Diaz for the plus. I for certainly bet on him. It messed my whole parlay up. But it was plus 160, 165. I wanted to get it. I wanted to take it. Nate Diaz is known for doing stuff like this, but nah, he just was no match for Mike Perry. And the doctor had to stop the fight because he was gashed open pretty bad. One was above the eye, another one was at the top of the head, and it was pretty nasty. Now I know he would have kept going, as I told you all Friday, Saturday. He never backs down. He never gives up. I knew he was going to keep going, but yeah, they had to end that. Mike Perry, good fight. I told you his background from the bare knuckle fighting club, and how he's worked his way into MMA. But that was a good fight for him, a good way to get himself into the thing. Speaking of Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler is defending Ronda Rousey right now, trying to dismiss all the conspiracy theories that people are throwing around the internet about her friend Ronda and the fight that she had with Gina Carano. I've already said my piece. I've already talked about it. Shayna Baszler was going to say that. She's really good friends with Ronda Rousey. It looked like a damn scam to me, and I'm going to call it a scam. If it looked like a duck, it sounded like a duck. I was told it's a duck. But hey, you had your fight. You leave. Bye-bye. Sayonara. Her, I like Ronda Rousey, but man, ego is her ego is just through the roof right now. Like really. I need whoever that is to mute themselves. And yeah, can you mute? Go to mute, mute, mute. So I wanted to add people in here to be a guest, but it seems like I'm gonna have to just seems like I'm gonna have to take that off my app because it's really not helping me out. It's really just interrupting me in what I do. If you want the Great Debate Show to keep going live on TikTok, um, please stop interrupting the show. Okay. And if you're gonna come into the show, bear with me until I get to you. Until then, put yourself on mute. Okay, what's up, KLDN148? How you doing? Yes, I'm from America. I'm in America. Um, Again, as I was saying, ladies and gentlemen, man, man, man. All right, I gotta see how to block these people out. But yeah, like I was saying, I think that the MMA show, I think the card was good. I think Jake Paul did a good job in competing with Dana White in the UFC, and I think in the long run, he's gonna give them some problems because everybody got a pretty decent chick. It's good for some of these people to test free agency, like Nate Diaz, Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano. All these people got a pretty good chick. 2.2 million for Ronda Rousey. That's not a bad payday for 17 seconds worth of fighting. Again, John Jones called out by Ngannou. Is that fight gonna happen? It would have to happen outside of the UFC. John Jones will try to get out of the contract. Good luck with that. This is one of the reasons why I don't see it happening. Congrats to Mike Perry. Good win. Brutal, 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 violent match against Nate Diaz. And then we had the other guys on the card. Those were good matches too, but it ain't no need to go over those. Again, Dana White was being very petty as he dropped, he thought it was a bomb that he was dropping, letting everybody know that Conor McGregor would come back and fight this year. As a matter of fact, July 11th, he's supposed to have a fight against Max Holloway. And he did that while um, Francis Ngannou was coming out to the ring, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody. It was during the MMA card. And was it Ronda? Or was it before the Ronda fight? It might have been the Nate Diaz fight when he announced it, but still. Like that was it just kind of came off as a little insecure. He sees them as competition now, and he was doing something to try to spoil their moment. UFC had a fight. They had a fight going on that night. Nobody really paid that any attention. It didn't really get a lot of talk on the internet, and so that was that. I think that UFC could be in some trouble. He did say he texted Ronda Rousey before the fight, and gave her some encouraging words. But then again, he still told everybody about Conor McGregor and Max Holloway during that time. Will that fight even happen? A lot of people think that you can't believe anything when it comes to Conor McGregor and a fight until it happens. Amanda Nunes, Chris Cyborg, a lot of people was on the internet talking noise about Ronda's about her match, and they were very unimpressed, and so was I. But other than that, it was a great card, great night, and I just wanted to say that. Now let's move on to the NBA. SGA is the MVP again for back-to-back years. Y'all, Wemby came in third. I don't know where Jalen Brown came in at. And Luka Doncic got 0 votes for MVP. Do you all believe or agree with the NBA for making SGA the MVP again? I will say it was impressive what he did this season without Jay Will for most of the season. He's been in and out of the lineup. He's returning tonight from a hamstring strain, and I'm not opposed to it. Like I said, if they made SGA, Jalen Brown, or Wembyana the MVP, I would have been okay with it. But Luca got no votes. No votes. Just wanted to say that. I think tonight the Thunder are in trouble. I think that the 4 times that they played the Thunder this year, I mean the Spurs this year and lost out of 5, I think that's very, very concerning. And I'm glad that Jay Will is coming back because I personally think OKC is going to need them. Hold on 1 second, man. 1 second, brother. Give me 1 second. I think that the Thunder and the Spurs is going to be a good series. Kind of. I think every game will be somewhat competitive, but I just think Wemby's too much. All this hype about the Spurs not having playoff experience, I'm not gonna lie. I think that's BS. They just won the first round of the series. That's some experience. They just won the second round in the playoffs. That's more experience. That's how they got to the third round. All right. They are, to me, looking like the Thunder of last year. Everybody said the Thunder didn't have playoff experience. They went on to the finals. They won a championship. Now, I don't know if they do that or not, if Tyrese Halliburton doesn't get hurt, but that's history. He got hurt. They lost. Thunder won. This year, the Spurs look the same way OKC did last year. A team that's a year ahead of their time, but they got there because they were just better or they outplayed whoever. Wembyana is very good at the rim and protecting that rim, and he can defend the mid range at the same time. That is where SGA makes a living. That's the reason why they struggled 4 out of 5 times against the Spurs. I got the Spurs in 5. I want to be respectful, to be honest with you, and say 6, but I'm just gonna go by what I saw in the regular season. Experience is required. However, the Thunder didn't have a lot of experience either last year, and they won the whole thing. If there's one team that's gonna keep OKC from going back to back, this is the team that'll do it, the Spurs. And I asked everybody back in October, do you think Wembyana is the new face of the NBA? Do you think he's the best player, the best basketball player in the world? And everybody got on me and jumped in here and said, no, 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 not yet, not yet. He's not this, he's not that. They're still wet behind the ears. If they beat the Thunder, how wet are they going to be behind the ears then? Nobody expected them to go this far, and they're here. And I'm just saying, if the Thunder can pull this off, I will be very impressed and I will give them their props. And I'll be right because I picked Thunder Knicks for the NBA Finals. I just think I'm going to be wrong on that. I don't even know if I'm going to get the Knicks right because the Cavs look damn good, and I'll get to them in a moment. But first, let me listen to what I got Mike Duckett in here, and I've got I am Blake. I remember him. He's been here before. I don't know who's going first or who's going to say. It looks like Blake is off mute. So I'm going to let you come on in. The next time, though, please just mute yourself until I, allow you to speak. What you got to say, Blake? You good. Good morning.
Oklahoma City. I live in Oklahoma City. Yes, I am worried about the Spurs, but here's what I also have to say. We didn't really play our best basketball against them out of those 12 series because we knew we're going to be seeing them in the playoffs. So we didn't show our best hand. So tonight, they're going to make a statement game like all that trash we talk, Wendy. This is us showing you, hey, we came to play. So you better best bring your A game. So the whole series is going to be a great series. Don't get me wrong, but the Thunder are going to slowly drag the Spurs into the deep end, and that's where the Spurs are going to start having problems. This is when the Thunder start dragging them into the deep end. Like how far you want to go with this? Because we got 7 game experience.
So you think? Well, first of all, I didn't know Wimby was doing any trash talking to the OKC Thunder. I didn't know that. He was. Okay. Okay. So what makes you? Mhm.
There's basically gonna it's telling SGA like, hey, this is why I'm the MVP of the league. This is why I'm a champion, Wemby. You're not there yet.
I got you. It makes sense.
So
I think that's the very reason why Wimbyana is going to snap out in this series and beat your Thunder because he didn't get the MVP and he was third in MVP voting. That might rub him the wrong way, and it's going to show. We'll see. But
it's gonna wait for what he said in the off season. That MVP ain't gonna cover.
okay, well, let me ask you this: what makes you think the Thunder didn't really try to beat the Spurs? I mean, we're supposed to win these games that we play now. What makes you think the Thunder didn't, give the Spurs their all or their best lineup or their best rotation or whatever? Why would you say that?
I say that because this is exactly why. It's what's tonight's game. You don't play your best basketball against teams that you're gonna play against in the playoffs because if you bring the best hand in now, they're gonna have you figured out come playoffs.
Well, Blake, they played their best game against everybody else. They had to. Obviously, they finished number one in the Western Conference.
Yeah, you games to be losing.
Okay, man. Honestly, I think that I think that's a bunch of bull. I know you believe that yourself because that's your team, and I get that. But respectfully, I don't think that's it at all, man. I think that's excuses, and I think you're looking for a reason to tell yourself that your team can beat the Spurs because I think deep down you know. You just said you were worried about them.
The Trailblazers and the Timberwolves.
That was the Trailblazers and the Timberwolves. They match up very well though against the Thunder, and they've beaten them 4 out of 5. That's very convincingly. That's all I'm saying. I know you're right. It's the regular season. That's true. And again, I'm not saying OKC can't win this series. I got OKC in the finals. That was my prediction. So I hope I'm right, but I don't think I'm gonna be right from what I've saw. I don't think the Thunder can take this to a 7 game series. I don't think it's going to be 6 games, probably. Respectfully, I want to say 6, but I kind of want to say Spurs in 5. That's just me. But look, good luck, and I hope you're right. But yeah, I don't think it's that the Thunder didn't play their best ball against them. I think Jay Will is coming back out of desperation. They know that they need him back. But how healthy is he? J Dub comes back tonight. Yes. I don't know how limited he will be, but he comes back tonight for game one. They need him too, man. I promise you. They're gonna need him.
You wanted to keep them out for as long as you can let a deep thing
Uh-huh.
rest because hamstring lingering is not. It's not good.
It's not. I got a few people on here saying, man, the Spurs are about to sweep the Thunder. That's what sure Alexis just said. EJ Clips said OKC. All right, man. We're gonna see. Like I said again, congrats. Best of luck to you. We'll see. But congrats on getting back to the finals, conference finals. That is. Congrats on SGA being an MVP again. I think that's really gonna piss Wimbyana off tonight, though. EJ Clip said OKC, ABC, or HIV. It don't matter. He's got the Spurs in 6. That was a funny one, man. All right, Blake, we've done this before. I appreciate you coming in, brother, and I appreciate you keeping it respectful. Good luck to you, man. It doesn't sound like you really need it though. I think you're pretty confident, and you should be though. You're the champs. I get it, but I gotta move on, Blake. I thank you, brother.
Season, I'm not worried about the regular season. This is where it matters.
I got you. I hear you loud and clear, man. I appreciate you, man. I'll see you next time. We'll do it again. All right, man. You too. Okay, so hey, I am Blake, a Spurs fan. I mean, a Thunder fan out in OKC. He says, man, look, what we saw in the regular season ain't gonna have nothing to do with what you're about to see starting tonight. I don't believe it, but we will see. I did say Knicks Thunder in the NBA Finals, but the more I've been watching this, the more I've been like, man, I knew I should have picked the Spurs. I'm the one who told everybody the Spurs are gonna be ready. They're gonna be better than what you think. I just didn't know it was gonna be this fast. Now, the more I've watched them this season, they look like OKC of last year, a year ahead of their time. No playoff experience really, and nobody really thinks that they're ready just yet. And that same team that was not ready just yet won the championship last year. I think that this is the Thunder. And while we're so hyped up on who's the face of the league, who's the king of the NBA, is it SGA? Is it Wimby? And no, Wimby's not there yet. Well, what are you going to say if Wimby whoops that ass? Because I think the Spurs win in 5 or 6. I need to just say 6 because 5 sounds disrespectful. But they did beat them 4 out of 5 times this season. He says they didn't play their best ball against the Spurs because they knew they were going to play them. but they're number one in the West. So how in the hell do the Thunder play everybody else and give them their best game, but not the Spurs? Yeah, I think that's bull. Okay, they just can't beat them. Let's not look at how the Spurs struggled sometimes with the Timberwolves or with the Trailblazers. This is the Thunder. Just because they're better doesn't mean like the matchups aren't different. And that's just it. I got the Spurs in 6, probably 5. But we will see. Him being third in MVP voting, I think he's coming for SGA. I think Wemby is really coming. That's another chip on his shoulder. And since that elbow that he gave Nas Reed, he's already known he's got to lock in and he's got to chill out and he's got to just stick to the game and stay focused. That's just my 2 cents. Let's get to the Eastern Conference Finals now. Mr. Legend. Let's see what Mr. Legend wants to talk about real quick. I want to talk about the Cavs and the Knicks though, so I can get to some football news. What you got to say, Mr. Legend?
Man, I think the Knicks are going to the finals, but either way, whoever come out of the East, I don't see them beating neither team in the West. But I like the Knicks. I feel like the Cavs have just been too inconsistent, especially their, I guess, star players have been too inconsistent. I think the Knicks win in 5, actually,
Oh,
if not a sweep.
oh, wow. Okay. Look, man,
Yeah.
I got the Knicks in the finals too, brother. I do, and I want to be right. But I ain't gonna lie. I'd be lying if I didn't say the Cavs kind of got me a little worried. The Cavs are good. I've always known that. James Harden didn't do what I expected him to do in game 6 or game 7, but he's still playing. Thanks to Spida. They're alive and they're well. I've been very impressed with Max Struess and Mobley and Jared Allen. And who's the other guy that went off last night? He does it every now and then. He's inconsistent, but I can't think of the guy's name. But he started hitting some threes also as well in the corner. The Cavs have been impressive. Not gonna lie, I told everybody they can beat the Pistons. I was afraid of this matchup, and I was right. Even though I was rooting for the Pistons, I knew they weren't probably not gonna win it. They're limited offensively. The Knicks are not limited offensively though, and that's one thing that was surprising me with the Cavs on how good they look defensively. Um, go ahead, go ahead.
I think it's gonna come. This matchup with the Knicks and the Cavs gonna come down to who plays the better defense.
And who do you think
They
that's gonna
both
be?
need, and they both got the offensive tools to put up the points. So whoever comes out with the defense, that's who wins. And I think it comes down with the Spurs. Just to kind of switch back, but with the Spurs and the OKC, I think that's gonna come down to who can make all the games in the regular season was decided by who scored more points in the paint. I just think it's gonna be a good matchup with that. I feel like the OKC Thunder they can actually hit the shots from the perimeter. That's something that when Diva and Chizzo went down, that the Timberwolves couldn't do consistently. So going back to the Knicks, I just Knicks and Cavs. The Cavs, I don't trust neither team to be honest, but I trust the Knicks a little bit more. They have more of the world rooting for them to go to the finals. I think they'll show up for that.
They do.
I don't think the Cavs.
Right. Yeah, I think the Knicks are the better team when they're locked in and they're focused. We know sometimes the Knicks aren't always doing that though. They are very inconsistent as well. Just they can be. Now they haven't been in the postseason, but let's keep in mind the Cavs just beat the Pistons, a much better, tougher team to beat than what the Knicks did to the Sixers. And then before that, the Knicks put out the Hawks. So as good as the Knicks have looked, they ain't really did anything that they were not supposed to do in the first place. Basically, they ain't beat nobody really. They're gonna have to beat the Cavs, and this is a much tougher team to beat. I will say that. On the flip side, the Cavs just beat the Pistons, and before that, who did the Cavs put out in the first round?
No,
The Raptors. I think the Cavs have had better competition. I'm not gonna lie to you. Toronto was much. Go ahead.
Detroit. Okay, yeah, yeah,
Detroit is good. Yeah, Detroit is good now. I mean, look, again, they're limited offensively. But the Pistons can really lock in at times and just really swamp you with their defense. And we didn't really get that. But I think the Cavs offense and the way they pushed the ball and the way the good ball movement and the rotation was, I think they had a lot to do with it. So I got to give the Cavs their props. I got to give them, credit. And I'm a little bit worried about them because I went with the Knicks to go to the finals. I do think the Knicks can do it in six, but I don't know about five or a possible sweep like you're saying. I really don't. But
think it's gonna be bad. I think it's gonna be 5-4 because I don't trust James Harden. I
oh
really
no,
don't.
you can't trust. He can't be trusted. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. And he didn't show up in game 6 or 7, but Spida did what he had to do, and that's how they were able to close out. I still want to see Harden close, but hey, man, I guess this is what Harden needed all along. Ride the other star all the way to the top. And that's exactly what he did these past few games. Congratulations to Spida and the Cavs. The Cavs look really good. Jared Allen has been very impressive. Evan Mobley has been very impressive. I'm not gonna lie, but I can't wait to see how this looks. Carl Anthony Towns and Jared Allen. I can't wait to see how that's going to go. And then you got and OG Ananobi, who's supposed to be back. He's had enough time too to get right. He's had the little injury he got nicked up in the last series, but thank God he had a week or so to rest because of this long vacay that they've had. So tomorrow we gonna see. And who you got the Knicks playing in the finals then, man? And I'm gonna let you go. Who are they gonna play? I know you said they can't win the championship anyway because the West is too good.
It's a complicated answer, but I'm gonna say I'm rooting for the OKC, but just Wimby so big. But I'm gonna just stick it out with OKC because I feel like they'll figure it out. They'll hit the perimeter shot. They'll figure it out. I'm gonna go with OKC.
Well, that was
I'm
my
gonna go.
prediction. Okay, okay. That was my prediction back in October. OKC versus the Knicks. But the more I've been watching, and I have been telling everybody, Wemby has got about to take over. He's the best player in the league, and ain't nothing nobody can do about it. It ain't even fair the things that that brother can do at his height, at his size. And I think that that's a problem for OKC. I got the Spurs in 6, and I really think they can beat them in 5. So I'm thinking it's gonna be the Knicks and the Spurs, but we'll see. I'm going back to 1999 all over again, baby.
Before you let me go, I agree. I think the Spurs are a year ahead of schedule. I have them taking over next year. That's kind of how I view it. So I'm hoping SGA can get him another, ring. And then next year, it's all Spurs. Let Wimmy gain 10, 15 more pounds. I really don't see nobody beating them for a good 5 years. So yeah, that's how it's going. That's how I look at it. After this year, definitely the Spurs are the team to beat. They're the team in the West. The Timberwolves, I think they're just gonna die out. They don't have. They gotta get a big shoot. But yeah, all right.
Okay, Mr. Legend. But look, man, I appreciate you. But that's exactly what I just said a little earlier. Everybody said OKC was a year ahead of their time last year, but they won the championship. So people that saying that the Spurs are not ready yet, I think y'all about to fuck around and find out. I'm telling you, like the Spurs, the Thunder, they can't beat the Spurs. They've really struggled with them, and I don't think that it was just because it was the regular season. Jay Will's coming back tonight for a reason because they're gonna need him, and I don't know how much of a factor he will be. We will see. The only thing that's gonna hurt the Spurs is if they struggle to score points. I mean, to make shots when they really need to make them. But that hasn't really been an issue because they defend well and they stay up on you or they keep it close. Now I know OKC's defense is smothering, but so is the Spurs. So we will see. Again, I thank you, Mr. Legend, for coming in. Thank you for following me. Let me read a few comments before I get to some football news. I think that's enough basketball talk. I do have Jessica in here. Let me see what Jessica has to say. 1 second. Wimby versus shit. I'm ready. Oh yeah, they didn't figure it out in the regular season 4-1. That's a good comment right there. Tick. I'm just gonna say tick. Shamino. They didn't figure it out. That's right. That's right. 21-100 tick. Um, did you know 2 days ago it was leaked out? It was gonna be the Cavs and Knicks in a commercial on CBS. Ooh, that doesn't surprise me at all, unknown fan. That doesn't surprise me at all. Let me see what Jessica has to say. But hey, thank you for saying that, brother. I tell people all the time this stuff is not real. An unknown fan said it was a commercial they played that leaked it out. Okay, Jessica left, so I guess she doesn't want to talk. Jason Rodriguez, damn John Boy, George Boggle. Unknown fan, MH Cruz, Juanita, Level, Jason, Nanny Page, 22. I want to thank y'all for joining me here on the Great Debate Show. Jokic is the top three in every category for the past 2 years and not getting the MVP 2 years in a row. Says Almighty Trio. You know what? That's probably who came in second in MVP voting. It probably was Jokic, but hey man, Jokic, he could get the MVP every year. That's no doubt about it. But look, SGA is back to back. I guess he definitely disagrees with it. I would have been okay with either one of those people. Jokic, Wemby, Jalen Brown, or SGA for different reasons. Jalen Brown carried the Celtics, got them to a number 2 seed in the East, and this was supposed to be a gap year. So I would have took him. Wemby, you see what he's doing for the Spurs this season. I would have took him. SGA, what he's did this year without Jay Will for most of the season, I would have picked him. And then Jokic, he could get MVP literally every year. So either one of those, I think. Hey, mute yourself. Mute yourself, please. I'm still talking. Thank you. Okay, if you want to say something, Walker, now you can speak. What do you want to talk about? Football. Okay, what do you want to talk about in football? I have a question for you. Okay, let's hear it. What's your favorite NFL team? The San Francisco 49ers. Okay. Who do you think the best wide receiver of all time? Jerry Rice. Um, Okay, so we got a few kids on here just asking a few questions. Hey, Walker, I appreciate it, man, but I got some more things to talk about. Thank you for your time. I got to roll. Okay. He don't really want to talk, man. He just being a kid. All right. But anyway, yeah, back to what I was saying. Spurs, Knicks, even though I said Thunder, Knicks back in October. And I'm sticking to that, but I already see I'm gonna be wrong. I think. We'll see. I'm like whoever that was in the comments that said, man, the Spurs, I mean, the Thunder couldn't figure it out in 5 games this season. Regular season, they lost 4 out of 5. Somebody came on here as an OKC fan and said that it was because they didn't play their best ball on purpose because they knew they were going to see the Spurs in the playoffs. I know y'all ain't buying that, right? Okay, I want to talk about some football for a minute. Y'all know Aaron Rodgers finally decided to show up and sign to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they find it turns out that what it is, he wanted some more money because he felt that he gave them a discount last year. And so he wanted 22, 23 million per. That's what he's getting. With incentives, he could get up to 25 million. Look, 25 million is still kind of cheap these days for quarterbacks. However, Aaron Rodgers will be 43 in December. Aaron Rodgers gets rid of the ball quicker than anybody else in the league. He gets rid of the ball in 2.5 seconds or less. And it's mainly because he's scared and he doesn't want to get hit anymore. So if he doesn't want to get hit anymore and he gets rid of the ball so quick, then that means he's not looking down the field. There's not going to be any big plays. You know, all the things that the Steelers really do need on offense. You can't get there from Aaron Rodgers because, again, he is afraid to get hit now. He's not the same guy he used to be. The arm talent isn't quite there, and the legs definitely are not anymore. So since he can't move, he gets rid of the football. I'm gonna just tell you real quick why I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are just so dumb. This man, you made this man think that he had all the leverage, because he knows that you're not waiting on anybody else but me, so you got to pay me. Well, my problem with the Pittsburgh Steelers is that he's 42 and he didn't do anything for you last year, or not anything more for you that Russell Wilson and whoever they had the year before that did. So why did you put all your eggs in one basket for a 42-year-old quarterback instead of looking for the future? What the Steelers are doing at quarterback is becoming very, very, very annoying. And this just doesn't seem like the franchise that we once knew. You're not going to get much out of Aaron Rodgers. You may get a wild card appearance, maybe. You may not. Now, there was a rumor that TJ Watt could get traded before the season starts. I don't know how true that is. This just could have been them playing mind games with Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. But at the end of the day, if you expect the Steelers to compete in the playoffs and have a playoff push or be a Super Bowl contender, you're sadly mistaken. That won't happen until they finally do the one thing that they haven't done in the past 7, 8 years: Focus on a franchise quarterback and stop doing everything else around it, thinking that it's all going to work out. That has not happened, and it ain't going to happen with a 42-year-old quarterback. They just paid Aaron Rodgers some more money for what? Anyway, what's up to Callie the Barber? What's up to Pro Player Michael BT83? 83. It's a good year, baby. William, thank y'all for joining me, man. This is the Great Debate Show. I got more football news to talk about, and basically, I want to talk about a few of these people that could get traded post June 1. Now, we all know that AJ Brown and the Philadelphia Eagles are pretty much, thinking about moving on from him. But it's said that the Patriots is going to be the team to make the move. I just question, why is everybody so sick? Why is everybody putting it in ink, putting it in stone that, hey, I guess AJ Brown's going to be a New England Patriot? That doesn't have to be the situation. I think that the Tennessee Titans, the Buffalo Bills, the New Orleans Saints, the Kansas City Chiefs, there are plenty of teams out there that should be calling the Eagles up right now saying, what did New England offer? We can top it. That's just it. F the Steelers coming from Cleveland. That's a good one. Thank you for that comment. Sad boy Dash. He also said Sanders is gonna go crazy. You're talking about Shadur, I'm thinking. And you're a Cleveland Brown, I'm hoping. I'm guessing. What's up, Jofi Joe? He said, did I miss the MMA talk? Damn, brother, you did. I started out the show with it. But all you got to do is rewind, brother. And if you got an issue or you want to debate something I said, come on back in if I'm still live and we can talk about it. I'm not leaving in the comments, brother. But I did. I talked about why Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano was probably a scam, a fix fight. But everything else was lovely. Everything else was lovely. And John Jones was there. And Francis Ngannou called him out. I loved it. It was a good show. And Jake Paul in the MVP promotion is going to give Dana White and UFC a run for their money if this is not a one and done. And he said it wasn't a one and done. All right. I think that's all I've missed right there. But thank y'all. Who you got in the Eastern Conference Finals? I picked the Knicks in October. I got to stick with that. Knicks and Thunder. That was my prediction. But I do think it's going to be the Knicks and the Spurs. I really don't think the Knicks. I really don't think the Thunder can beat the Spurs. And I don't think that the Knicks or the Cavs will beat the Spurs or the Thunder. I think the West still wins the championship. So that's just my take. I've just talked about Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. That finally happened. The Steelers, I think, are dumb. I can't believe that they're this desperate. But back to AJ Brown. He's gonna get traded more than likely. It's gonna save the Eagles money if they wait to do it after June 1st. I just think that the Buffalo Bills or the Kansas City Chiefs or the Tennessee Titans should be stepping in, trying to match the offer or tap the Patriots offer. You know, why are they so set and keyed in on whatever the Patriots are saying they're going to do that? And on top of that, they're actually going to appease AJ Brown because we know he would love to play for Mike Vrabel. We know that. So thank y'all for the likes. More likes attracts more viewers. I really do appreciate it. All right. So AJ Brown, he could be going to New England, but I just still think that it should be other teams that should be trying to get him. Um, Adam Schefter said he thinks all the elements are in place, and I still think that once we get to June, that these two sides will get together and complete a trade that will send AJ Brown to the New England Patriots. Trading Brown before June 1 would cost the Eagles $20 million in additional cap space, but trading him after June 1 will save the team $7 million. I just don't get it, man. I'm sorry, I just don't get it. Why would the league just say, okay, I guess he's gonna be a Patriot? I don't get it. I will be trying to get AJ Brown my damn self and top the Patriots off before we get to June 1. Another player that could get traded, even though I know their petty ass is not going to do it. Brandon Ayuk and the San Francisco 49ers. Yep, they've been on a standstill for months now. And it all started when we found out that Brandon Ayuk was not going to play the rest of the year when people were looking for him to come back in November. Now, it's a subject that I'm kind of tired of talking about. Nobody really knows what happened. Most Niner fans do not have. Hey, what's going on, man? Can I get you to mute yourself for a minute? Thank you. And whatever you want to talk about, we'll do that in 1 second. Mute, mute. But yeah, let me try to hurry and wrap this up and see what they want to talk about, and then I gotta get out of here. But I think Brandon Ayuk and the 49ers, this is gonna go on until right before we get to week 1, because that's when the 49ers would have to pay Brandon Ayuk like another $27 million or so. And the only way that they will not have to do that is if Brandon Ayuk doesn't come to any of the OTAs or training camp or anything like that. And even if they do fine him, I think they still own him before week 1 when we get to like September 1st. So eventually, Ayuk will not be a Niner. Everyone in the league knows he's not going to be a Niner. So why would anybody trade for him? But that is a name that is on the list, according to Bleacher Report, as far as possible trades. Hey, man, I'm not going to ask you again, man. Mute yourself. I'm not ready yet. He's not going to listen to me. So he's going to get out of here. I love AJ Brown's play, but I think his attitude will keep teams away. Kevin, I hear you, man, but teams put up with AJ Brown's, I mean, with Antonio Brown's attitude for a long time. People put up with Terrell Owens and his attitude for a long time. It's just when you're good, you're good. You're not wrong, but you're kind of wrong. The Patriots don't care about his attitude. They're trying to get him. And I think that's where he's going to go June 1. My problem is I think other teams should be trying to get him. And I don't really know if he's really got an attitude, though, Kevin. You may be an Eagle fan, so you know more than I do if you are an Eagle fan, but he really never said nothing wrong. It's the OC that he has a problem with. It's probably the head coach a little bit, the quarterback. Him and that guy don't see eye to eye. Everybody started to say they don't like the quarterback. They don't think he's really, that guy, even though he's a Super Bowl champion. Eagles fans are saying that AJ Brown, I mean, Jalen Hurts is not all that. So once we get him in New England, or once we get him with Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, or man, I would have loved for him to have got traded to Buffalo to play with Josh Allen. But again, thank you for the comment, Kevin. Shay, back-to-back MVP at flopping. See, there's somebody else who does not agree with SGA being the MVP. And I kind of agree with that. Thank you for the comment, T. I'm sorry, but Dylan Harper is going off in the playoffs. I still think he deserves Rookie of the Year more than Flag. That's not a bad comment at all, 210 Ilbert. That's a very good statement, man. Dylan Harper has been playing, and I didn't even get to talk about Dylan Harper. He's surprised a lot of people, y'all. I mean, like, I knew he was going to be a good player in this league, but what Dylan Harper has did from the All-Star break till now has been very impressive. He finishes at the rim. His shot has gotten better, mid-range and three-point, and he's a good defender, just like the rest of those guys. This is why I say Spurs in 6, and I really said Spurs in 5. I'm with you, brother. J JB Black or J Black. I mean, thank you for liking the live. Cool Drew. Thank you for joining me. Driver DZ455, Bishop Sean BT, Cap LZ God. Thank y'all so much for joining me, man. William Kmont official Norse Wolf. Thank y'all. It's the Great Debate Show, and I've been talking about MMA. I've been talking about the NBA conference finals preview. Gave you that. Ronda Rousey and Carano. Was it a fix? Was it a fixed fight? And then SGA being back-to-back MVP. Should it have been the Joker, Nikola Jokic? Should it have been Wembyama? Should it have been Jalen Brown? Why did Luka get 0 votes? I've already chopped it up about that. And now I'm in the NFL talking about Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers dumbasses for waiting and being desperate for him to come. And they gave him a little bit more money just to get a 42-year-old to play and do nothing more for them than anybody else has done for them in the past 8, 9 years. And now I'm focused on AJ Brown. Why is everybody saying he's going to the Patriots? Why doesn't any other team want AJ Brown? Kevin says it's because his attitude, people are going to shy away from him. Well, Mike Vrabel's not. And that attitude is what got them in the Super Bowl last year. And if they get this trade to happen, they could very well get back in the Super Bowl. We will see. I'm very suspect to see what Drake May does in that offensive line, but we'll see. Back to Brandon Ayuk, though. Yeah, I don't think Brandon Ayuk is going to be a Niner. I would love for him to stay because I don't really know what went on. Nobody does. We just know he didn't play, and we don't know why he didn't play. We don't know why he didn't go to team meetings and practices and things like that. We don't know. We just don't know. So until we find that out, I just don't want to blame the Niners or Brandon Ayuk. I'm just ready for it to be over. But Brandon Ayuk is another name that could happen after June 1, even though I don't think anybody will do anything. What about Eric Armstead and the Jacksonville Jaguars? It looks like he could be a guy that could get traded after June 1 because the Jaguars will save some money. Armstead, the former 49er, had 5.5 sacks, 28 combined tackles, but he's 32 years old. And um, the Jaguars could save 14.5 million if they trade him after June 1. So that very well is what could happen. Their picks that they had in the draft kind of reflects that they will let him go. Um, let's see who that is that they who was that they took steps to reload their defensive front by trading for Ruke Orihoro before drafting Albert Regis and Wesley Williams in rounds 3 and 4, respectively. So Armstead now looms as a prime post June 1 trade candidate who should interest teams seeking more defensive help up front. His potential suitors are the 49ers and the Tennessee Titans. One is because he was a former Niner, and we could still use him in the interior on our defensive line. And two, the Titans is a name because well he played for years under Robert Saleh, and Robert Saleh is now the head coach with the Tennessee Titans. So that all makes sense. Cole Kmet, tight end of the Chicago Bears, is another name that could get replaced. They got that first round pick now, Colston Loveland from Notre Dame. He has clearly established himself as a tight end one. And while the rookie third round pick, Sam Roosh, probably has a brighter future in Chicago than Komet. These are some of the reasons why they will let him go. They can save about 1.5 million after June 1 by letting him go. So Cole Komet could still help another team out, but the Bears, it just wouldn't probably make sense since they've already kind of, gotten younger and they'll be all right without him. What else I got? What else I got here? Joshua Palmer for the Buffalo Bills. He's another guy that could get traded. He signed a 3-year, $29 million contract just over a year ago. But in a few weeks, they'll have an opportunity, Buffalo that is, to get out from under that deal because it's looking like a mistake. We know they just got DJ Moore. They think that they're going to get more out of the Keon Coleman guy. So getting out of that contract with Joshua Palmer may be the right thing for the Buffalo Bills to do. I still think Buffalo should be trying to go for AJ Brown. I know that's not happening now since they got DJ Moore, but DJ Moore ain't nowhere near on AJ Brown's level. And I hate teams that sometimes go with character over talent. Sometimes you can just put up with the character, no matter how bad it is, until they can't play ball anymore. I mean, George Pickens, he still has a team after the Steelers didn't want to have anything to do with him. So, I'm just saying. All right, what else I got? Kenny Moore, Indianapolis Colts. That's another guy that could be getting on down. I mean, he's already released, but this is one of the notable free agents that people are looking at. And I think Kenny Moore, some people say it's safety, but he's a nickel corner. He would definitely help out a team. The Raiders and the Chiefs are suitable potential suitors for him. The Chiefs need some help in secondary. They traded two of their best corners away, one to the Rams and one somewhere else. I'm not sure, but yeah, the Chiefs could actually be a potential suitor. But Kenny Moore, the Colts did that because I think they carried over like, hold on, am I reading the right one now? Where did Kenny Moore go? Kenny Moore. Um, I don't know how much they say about releasing him, but they did it. It was a financial move, and I think that he would still be a good pickup wherever he goes. And I used to hear his name a lot. Like Kenny Moore is the name that I would hear when I'm watching the Colts and they're making plays. So let's see who's going to get him. Other people. Who else? Who else we got here? What's going to happen with Anthony Richardson? Also, that'll be interesting to find out. Alvin Kamara with the New Orleans Saints. He still could get released or traded. It's been weird with Kamara. He never wants to really leave New Orleans. I don't understand though why they won't move on from him. Um, cap reasons and just rebuild. It's time to just they're starting it over, but for some reason they're still trying to do that with Alvin Kamara. Um, he's 30 years old. The Saints, they may not be quite as eager to keep him. They brought back Devin Neal, Keandre Miller, and Audric Estime, they signed Etienne and Todd Johnson and added CJ Donaldson as undrafted free agents. So while Kamara is still on the roster, that could change after June 1. After the date, the Saints would save this looks like quite a bit of money. There's that 456,000 or whatever they could save, and moving him before June 1 would cost 7.6 million. So yeah, they definitely um would not take that much of a cap hit if they could get rid of him now. 456,000 in cap space. Moving him before June 1 would cost 7.6 million. New Orleans is unlikely to get a massive return for an aging back. Kamara's dual threat ability should warrant some interest from running back needy teams. The Saints will be more than likely to accept a bargain after once the cap hit of the moving Kamara becomes more manageable. Okay, so those are some of the notable free agents. We also got wide receivers that I hadn't even mentioned yet. Tyreek Hill, who's probably going back to Kansas City, but they're just monitoring his rehab right now from the damage he did to his knee. You also have Stephon Diggs, who is now not guilty. He's good now. All of that was just somebody trying to get some damn money. It was another one of those situations, and he's good though. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Houston Texans picked up the phone and tried to get Stephon Diggs back. We know what's his name? CJ Stroud could use him out there in Houston. There's other teams. There's plenty of teams that could call, in my opinion, though, for Stephon Diggs. We will see who that will be, but I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen with Stephon Diggs. And there's somebody else that I'm missing. There's another receiver that still is available right now. I said Diggs. I said Tyreek Hill. Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen is also available. The former longtime Charger. He still can help a team out somewhere. A team that's in desperate need of, a veteran. I wouldn't be surprised if Pittsburgh done it if they could afford it, but they're still just reaching instead of, getting younger, tearing it down, rebuilding it. But yeah, Keenan Allen, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill. These are three notable wide receiver free agents who are toward the end of their career, but they still can bring a little spark to an offensive team that needs, some wide receiver depth or a veteran leader in the locker room. All right, that's pretty much all I got, ladies and gentlemen. I wrapped it up with some football talk, notable free agents, and post June 1 trades. Aaron Rodgers signed with the Steelers. I talked about the conference finals preview. While I said Thunder, Knicks, I think it'll probably be Spurs Knicks. And we did the MMA rundown. I do think it was a great card by Jake Paul at MVP Promotions. I just think that Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano was probably staged, like a lot of things are. All right, I'm gonna read a few more comments and I'm gonna get out of here. Stephon Diggs will go back to New England. I just said that, man. I really do think that could happen. La Cosa Nostra. It's Debo Samuel. Debo Samuel is another name that I missed, but I don't really think that he is really worth talking about, to be honest with you. Yeah, he can help somebody out somewhat, but Debo looks better when he goes to a team that's already kind of stacked. He can't really help a team out that really needs a veteran wide receiver because he doesn't get open. He doesn't really beat man-to-man coverage. He doesn't have the best of hands all the time. He is a gadget player, and he's not the same guy that he was in 2020, 2021, 2022. So it's crazy he's not even 30 yet, but it's like he's already like 34 or 33 in football years because of the way Kyle Shanahan ran him in the ground. But it was the only way, oh, it was the most production that he could get out of him, you know? He didn't do bad in Washington last year, but why are they not re-signing him? Just saying. J Mac Collects also said Debo Samuel. Yeah, I mean, these guys are all going to get signed, but Debo is going to be more of a training camp or right after training camp signing, right before training camp. That's why he's going to the Dallas Cowboys. Who, Debo? Okay. The Cowboys don't really need any help at wide receiver, though. They don't. But yeah, you're right. If he goes to a team that's stacked already, yeah, that's when he looks like he's shining in. I just don't know if that's something the Cowboys are wanting to do. And how would that look? Them bringing in Debo Samuel on a 1 year deal or something, and George Pickens is playing on the tag. They don't need him, but hey, they definitely could be even more dangerous with him. I'm not going to deny that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got. I hope y'all enjoyed the Great Debate Show. My time is up. I'll be back tomorrow to talk about the Spurs and the Thunder. Let's see what game one looks like. SGA is the MVP again. I think Wimby is going to let everybody know that that didn't sit very well with him. That's just my 2 cents. And not to mention, they beat their asses 4 out of 5 times this regular season. And I don't think that that was just because it's the regular season. All right. I hope y'all have a magnificent Monday. Y'all be safe. Until the next time, peace and love. And until then, man, I'll holler. Follow, follow, follow. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe to the Great Debate Show. Thank you.